They're calling it supremacy. The middleweight championship is on the line. It is happening in September. Saul Canelo Alvarez from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, will be taking on Kazakhstan's Gennady Golovkin. It's been marinating for a couple years, and this week the press tour kicked off in London, England. A lot of fans came out to see these two fighters. You know it's a worldwide affair. Then it was across the pond, Madison Square Garden. They call it the Mecca. Triple G sold it out. He has a big fan base on the East Coast. Then they jumped on their private planes, went to the West Coast, Los Angeles, Southern California, a hot summer's day, and the fans are lined up outside ready to cheer on their favorite fighter. It's the final press conference for Triple G and Canelo as they get ready for their big showdown in September in Las Vegas. And there you see the stage. We're inside the Avalon Hollywood in Los Angeles, California. There's been concerts here they talked about in the past. But today, a really cool press conference coming your way featuring Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. Thank you for joining us. I'm Beto Duran alongside the editor of RingTV.com, one of the best boxing scribes out there, Doug Fisher, and one of the cool guys to work with, also a longtime boxing scribe, Steve Kim. And Doug, I'm going to start with you. This fight, there's a buzz in your column, Steve, on your podcast, on your shows, but this is worldwide. How cool is this?
No, it's awesome. You got a guy from Mexico and a guy from Kazakhstan, and there are Mexican fans for the Kazakhstan fighter, and there's fans all around the world who have a lot of respect for both Canelo and Golovkin because of what they've accomplished in the ring, but also because they take the hard fights and challenges like this fight, like the fight that's going to take place September 17. Like you said earlier, it marinated for about a year and a half. That drove some hardcore fans crazy. The hardcore fans hounded Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and Team Canelo, and they said, okay, we're going to give it to you September 2017, and here it is. And now that it's happened, the anticipation is bigger than I ever expected.
And Steve, that word marinated came from Oscar De La Hoya, the Hall of Famer and president of Golden Boy Promotions. He said this fight's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's happening. Tickets went on sale, one of the hardest tickets to get in Las Vegas. What's the buzz in the boxing world?
Well, there's certainly a lot of anticipation. I think on the night of May 6th, as Gennady Golovkin was trotted out into the ring, it was almost a surreal feeling that this fight is going to happen. Now as we wrap up the media tour, I would say now it's reality. Reality has struck, and it's a vision of Tom Loeffler and Gennady Golovkin. Approximately 5 years ago, they said, we'll embark on this journey, and one day we will be involved in some of the biggest events in boxing. And you talk about marinating. Well, guys, we're now out of the oven.
Canelo has sold out one of the biggest pay-per-views under his belt. Triple G easily on the biggest stage of his career. And, you know, if you're going to be in L.A., if you're going to be in Hollywood, you got to go red carpet. Jessica Rosales is the fourth member of our crew, and she's with the one and only Oscar De La Hoya.
All right, I don't think anyone knows how to do a red carpet quite like Los Angeles does. It's a little bit more active here, a little bit more energy than it was in New York. Tell us about this red carpet.
It is. No, it's great. You know, LA is the place, you know, for. I mean, we're in Hollywood. You know, red carpets are obviously a staple here in the city, and you know, this event obviously is very deserving of that, and you know, we're excited that we can debut a 30-minute little mini movie about the history of the middleweight division, where Canelo and Triple G will be fighting on. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that, because Triple G and Canelo in September, it's going to definitely make its mark in history. The thing with that, 50% of the fans for Canelo, 50% for Triple G, but none of them can really say who 100% will win this fight. Why do you think that is?
It's because it's an even fight. It's a real fight. I should have called this fight bombs away, because I mean, both guys have dynamite in their fists. Every punch they throw it with bad intentions. It's going to be a fun fight. I think no fighter takes a step going backwards. So Golovkin is a fighter who just is very aggressive, comes forward. It's going to be fun.
Every time that you've told me about a fight, you've always been true to your word. So I got to ask you, with this fight, are we going to see action the entire time? Because I hope so.
I mean, right from the start, the way I describe it, it's going to be like whatever rounds it lasts, it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. It's going to be a fight.
So you don't see it going the distance?
I don't see it going the distance. I think, look, there's either guy can knock you out, with either punch, right hand, left hook. They're both powerful, and they're going to be throwing with bad intentions. So, and they're skillful, They're just skillful fighters who are just going to clash and create a special fight.
The only thing left is we got to figure out what to do until September 16th.
Yeah, well, we'll be debuting. We'll be doing some 24/7s where we'll be following the fighters and on HBO, obviously. And I guess we'll just have to wait patiently for September 16th.
They say good things come to those who wait, right?
People have been asking for this fight for a little while, and I'm glad that we can finally deliver it.
Me too, and so are the fans. Thanks so much, Oscar, and enjoy the red carpet tonight.
It's called Supremacy. Oscar with bombs away. Somebody's going down. There's going to be hell.
That works.
That's how you sell it when you got that salt and pepper beard going. Now, before we get to other people on the red carpet and Jessica Rosales, Doug, this fight, a couple years ago, there was a shakeup at Golden Boy. People left the company. A lot of the fighters left.
Yeah.
There were boxing scribes saying, hey, where's the future of Golden Boy Promotions? Oscar got up off the mat, put his company together, and now they have a huge promotion in September 16th. Did you ever think that Oscar would get the company back to where he's at right now?
Yeah, because although he lost a lot of talent with that upheaval within his own company, he still had Canelo Alvarez. And Alvarez, the shining star of Golden Boy, was going to keep the promotional company afloat financially until they were able to build up a new stable of prospects, of contenders, and build some new title holders to support Canelo. And so I think it's for Oscar De La Hoya's promotional career, it's a bit of vindication. As you said, it's redemption because in late 2014 and early 2015, there were a lot of people in the media, but also within the boxing industry, basically saying, hey, is this the end of Golden Boy? Obviously it's not, because they've already had some huge boxing events with Canelo just a couple months ago with Canelo Chavez Jr., a pay-per-view doing 1 million buys. But this is a fight that transcends the sport of boxing. ESPN and mainstream sports media has their focus on it, and it's a real fight. So I think personally for Oscar De La Hoya, it's the kind of promotion he wants to put on, because when he was fighting and when he was at his best, he was in kind of fights that they sold out arenas. They were pay-per-view worthy, but at the end of the day, they were entertaining fights. Like his first fight with Shane Mosley, his grudge match with Fernando Vargas. You want that.
You got to give it to the fans. And Oscar De La Hoya even said, hey, forget the Cold War. We're going to work with top-ranking Bob Arum. Now they're working with K2 and Tom Loeffler, who's standing by with Jessica Rosales.
All right, guys, and here we are on the red carpet in Los Angeles. Tom with me right now. And first, Tom, it's been a very exciting press tour. We've gone international for this fight, and of course it deserves it.
Yeah, no, it's been tremendous. I mean, ever since we announced the fight after the Chavez fight on May 6th, it's been nonstop. And with London and then New York, and now you see all the fans and the media out here in LA, this is really the culmination of the PR tour. Both guys were at ESPN last night, yesterday, just doing all the interviews. And that's the great thing about Canelo and Triple G. Not only are they great in the ring, but they know how to promote a fight. There's no animosity. There's a lot of respect between the two guys. But when it's September 16th, then both guys are going to put on a tremendous show for the fans.
Of course, you've been with Gennady for his career, and of course, getting him here to this stage, this level against Canelo in Las Vegas for the first time, a huge pay-per-view. Fans have been asking for this fight. Has this kind of been the goal where you guys have had your eyes set?
This is the goal. This has been the goal. He made his debut on HBO 5 years ago. That was the first fight here in America, and ever since then it was no looking back. And a lot of the guys that wouldn't fight him, this is his dream fight, where someone of Canelo's stature finally agreed to get in the ring with him. And now you have the two best guys in the middleweight division, two of the most marketable fighters. Both guys in their prime, and whoever wins September 16th will clearly be not only the most marketable, but the best fighter in the sport of boxing.
I think you hit a key word there, saying that Canelo wants to get in the ring with him. A lot of guys that do want to get in the ring with Gennady are really scared, and you can kind of tell right away. What have you guys been sensing from Canelo and his team? Have you been sensing that same kind of fear, that same energy you get off of other teams?
No, not at all. I think both guys are supremely confident. I don't think they would have signed the fight. I mean, Gennady thinks he's going to win. Canelo wouldn't have signed for the fight, and Oscar wouldn't have signed for the fight if they didn't think Canelo was going to win. So that's what makes it such a great matchup, is that both guys are very confident in their abilities. They don't need the trash talking. They have a lot of respect for each other, and I think that's what it's all about. This is the type of event where the fans really come out as the winners.
I think the one thing everyone's been debating is this going to go the distance or is this going to end in a knockout? And what's your gut feeling telling you? What are we going to see that night?
I think we'll see a knockout. Oscar thinks Canelo's going to have the knockout. We think Triple G's going to have the knockout. Either way, there's going to be a lot of fireworks, and I think with the excitement of this fight, this could easily be done 2 or 3 times with the way these guys are going to go at it September 16th.
We're looking forward to it, and of course, enjoy that red carpet out there tonight.
Thanks, Jess. Bye-bye.
Send it back.
Could easily be done 2 or 3 times. The words of Tom Loeffler. Steve, you have a good relationship with him, except when he goes radio silence.
Yeah.
But that's usually, that means there's something good coming up. Gennady Golovkin, Las Vegas for the first time. A few years ago, it was like, let me try to get this guy any kind of TV appearance.
Yeah, in fact, his introductory press luncheon was in Las Vegas during the Manny Pacquiao-Tim Bradley fight way back in 2012. And as explained earlier, they had a vision and they had a dream. And at the end of the day, I think Tom Loeffler's job was to make sure that they didn't negotiate themselves out of the fight. I think for the first time since his career came to America, Gennady Golovkin is not the A side. He is the decided B side. And once they figured out the financial split, it was not a flat fee. It is a percentage because they both believe that this pay-per-view would do well. Once they came to an accord and they hit a middle ground, really the deal was easy to make. And Beto, here we are.
The man from Kazakhstan, silver medalist, the man who trains in Big Bear, calls Southern California home, and has Mexicans for Golovkins out there. He's with Jessica Rosales.
All right, you guys, I thought that I was going to be the best dressed out here tonight, but I've got competition right here. Gennady, first off, you look great tonight. How has LA been so far?
That's great. You know, this is my second town. You know, this is my home. You know, thank you for support for my friends, you know, for my partners, you know, and absolutely thank you to people.
And of course, the people definitely came out here tonight. Lots of fans screaming for you when you walked in. What were they saying? Did you take any pictures?
Yes, pictures, just shake hands, you know, everything, you know, just respect my fans.
Of course, they're out here for a very good reason. September 16th, you and Canelo in the ring. You've been waiting for this fight a very, very long time. Tell me why Canelo? Why is it so important for you to get that fight?
You know, he's biggest guy from right now in boxing, you know. And big name and huge. He's special guy for boxing, you know. Look, everybody very excited.
So would you say that this is the biggest fight in your career so far?
Absolutely, yeah. This is my biggest fight, biggest opponent, and I believe this for boxing is biggest fight.
Let's talk about Las Vegas. Are you looking forward to fighting in Sin City for the first time?
Yeah, my first fight in Vegas. Yeah, I know. This fight just from Vegas.
Lots of lights and everything there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's coming to Vegas.
All right, Gennady, anything else you want to say to all the fans that are watching us live right now on Ring TV?
You know, thank you very much for your support, and please welcome to my fight, Vegas, September 16th, or watch HBO pay-per-view.
All right, thanks so much, and of course, have fun out there tonight.
Thank you.
He's done a great job of endearing himself to the Latino fan base, specifically the Mexicans, Mexican style, but a man quien es el orgullo de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo Alvarez, turned professional at the age of 15 in Tonalá. After that, had a draw, then he went on a run until he met Floyd Mayweather, his only blemish on his record. Now, Doug, Canelo Alvarez is a bona fide superstar.
Yeah, I would say he's probably Mexico's biggest star since the great Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., obviously.
I don't think you need to say that.
He's on a very small island of Mexican stars that include Chavez and Ruben Olivares. In Mexico, of course, it's produced so many great champions, but he's got that skill and ability of guys like an Eric Morales or a Marco Antonio Barrera, but he's in a glamour division in welterweight, junior middleweight, and now middleweight, and he's in the huge fights.
And see, this is the first time he's going to fight at 160.
Yeah, that's the thing. And what I find interesting about the dynamic of this fight is that for Gennady Golovkin, who's very accomplished, I believe he's been the best middleweight for at least 4 years and been the uncrowned middleweight champion in that period of time. This is a star-making opportunity, much like Marvin Hagler when he had Tommy Hearns move up in weight. And for Canelo Alvarez, this is a chance for him to legitimize his star power. Is he as much marketability as he is ability? We will find out September 16th.
September 16th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I think Canelo is standing by with Jessica Rosales, but before we get that, Doug, real quick though, this fight, the buzz, 2 words, how do you describe it?
Well, it's palatable. It's electric.
That's it. 2 words, Doug. Jessica Rosales is with the one and only Canelo Alvarez.
All right, guys, here we are in the red carpet in Los Angeles. Very different from how it looked in New York because we've got a lot more fans here. What does this mean to you? Pues aquí estamos en la alfombra roja y muy diferente desde Nueva York porque todos los afición.
Así es, no, la verdad que me siento muy contento, siempre que vengo a Los Ángeles también me tratan muy bien, me siento muy contento, agradecido con toda la gente, el apoyo y pues obviamente ya al cierre de la gira nos sentimos contentos porque ya vamos a ir por fin a entrenar.
He said, I'm very grateful for all the fans here. They've always treated me so well in Los Angeles. Now that we're closing out the press tour, we're pretty happy because now it is time to train. And speaking about that, we've got one of the biggest fights coming up September 16th. You, Triple G, the fans have been wanting this the most. You've been wanting this. I mean, this is a big one for boxing.
Así es, yo creo que es una pelea que el boxeo necesita. Es una de las más grandes de la historia sin duda y me siento muy contento de estar involucrado en peleas grandes porque al final es lo que quiero, así que espero la gente disfrute lo que quería ver porque ellos la pidieron y aquí la tienen.
He said, without a doubt, this is one of the biggest fights that's going down in boxing history, and he hopes that everyone enjoys it because this is what they've asked for, and finally it is coming. I got to ask you for some tips and tricks, unos consejos about walking the red carpet. I mean, I'm not very good at it.
La verdad que yo no sé ni cómo caminar, yo haré lo normal, no es lo mío.
He said walking the red carpet is not really my thing. I'm just going to walk through this normally. And what do you want to say to all the fans that can't wait until September? What are we supposed to do until then?
No, nomás agradecerles todo el apoyo y espero disfruten de esta pelea, una pelea que ellos querían ver. Me siento muy contento de poderles brindar esta pelea, una de las mejores peleas de la historia, así que espero la disfruten y estén donde estén, que disfruten de una gran pelea.
He said, I hope everyone enjoys it. Of course, the fans have been wanting this fight, and hopefully wherever you are, you get to see it. This is what you guys have been wanting, and we're doing this fight for you. Pues como siempre, gracias por el tiempo, Canelo. Send it back to you guys.
Great job, Jessica, or buen trabajo, because you're over there translating. Beth Duran, Doug Fisher, Steve Kim, and Doug. This fight, you have an extensive mailbag. You do Fridays and Mondays, and the fans have always been going, he's not going to fight him, he's not going to. Now, what do you have to say to them?
Yeah, to the naysayers, hey, you were wrong. You were wrong about Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, and Canelo Alvarez. The young man wants to be a legend, and to be a legend, you got to fight guys like Triple G. He's going to do it.
Steve, he just said it. To be a legend, you got to fight guys like this. Yeah. Also, Triple G needs to fight guys like Canelo.
Well, absolutely. He's needed that marquee fight that has avoided him, and many people believe that, quite frankly, time would run out. The question is, looking ahead, he's 35 years old now. Did the fight simply come too late? And going back to his fight in March, did the expiration date run out on his prime? And now is he ready to take on a young, hungry 26-year-old fighter in his prime? That is the intrigue of September 16th.
It's only the second day of summer. It's going to get even hotter this summer, September 16th in Las Vegas. That's where Triple G and Canelo will get in the ring. A lot of promotions. Stay tuned to everything that Golden Boy Promotions has for you, exclusive behind the scenes on their social media. But right now, on the stage, the president, the Hall of Famer, the one and only Oscar De La Hoya.
Good evening. I'm Oscar De La Hoya. Thanks to everyone for coming out tonight for a really special event. I am extremely proud to have been the executive producer for I Am Boxing, a documentary short film starring our good friend Ice Cube that tracks 2 golden ages of boxing leading into the mega fight on September 16th. This film looks at some of the greatest times in boxing, from the 6 wars between all-time pound-for-pound great Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta, to the incredible matchups between Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran in the 70s, to the historic event occurring September 16 between 2 great warriors, Canelo versus Triple G. Boxing has a long history of matching the best versus the best, and that's exactly what will happen at the T-Mobile Arena on September 16. As a reminder, tickets for this mega event are now on sale, and if you can't be there in person, you can watch on the best network for boxing, HBO pay-per-view. I'd also like to quickly thank our sponsors, Tecate, Born Bold, Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Tesna Bank, and Capital Holdings. I will let the film speak for itself, but I did want to point out one person in the film who everyone in boxing knows and loves, but may be unfamiliar to non-boxing fans. The world legend gets thrown around too much, but Don Chargan is an absolute legend. Not only has Don been promoting fights for 6 decades, he has managed to maintain an incredible reputation in a sport where that's really hard to do. He also saw Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in the history and a star of our film, on a number of occasions. We'll hear from Don in a bit later. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present I Am Boxing.
The following is a production of Golden Boy Media and Entertainment.
I Am Boxing is exclusively presented by Tecate. Tecate, born bold. I was born in antiquity. I was raised in blood-salted earth. I am pure, and I am complex. I am the beauty of the human form, and the darkness in the human mind. I am the violent release of strife within all men. I am a game played out masterfully over time, and all at once, with most brutal abandon.
I don't think he's getting up!
I have known many names, while my spirit remains unchanged. I am the soul of competition. I am the sweet science. I am boxing. I am boxing. I live on today, preserved in the primal quest to know, to see, to achieve who is best and deserving of a crown. I sit only in the space between bells. As I rest and listen, the orator speaks.
The things that I know about boxing, I think it's the greatest sport on the planet, and I mean the whole planet.
I am not contained by sovereign borders. Only the squared circle holds me, where I wait for my champions to carry me.
Champions always carry the sport of boxing, but 2 great fighters and 1 great fight, that is what's important. And I want to tell you, the fight is here. Canelo in Triple G. What could be better? 2 great fighters in a great fight. You've seen them in their beautiful suits and nice smiles and that. They're very, very charismatic. But the ring first.
First, it is in the ring where I feel the tension in the crowd, in the humanity that is my life's blood. As the 2 are at last assembled, bonded by a crackling energy of the fate that connects them.
Golovkin, you are next, my friend.
For the first time in a long time, you've got not just the boxing fans, you have the entire sporting world interested in this matchup.
Good luck in September.
La suerte es para los mediocres, my friend.
You know, this reminds me of when I first fell in love with the sport. Way back, Sugar Ray Robinson was slated to fight Earl Turner, who was a huge drawing card in Oakland, California. I lived in San Jose and used to take a bus every day just to watch Sugar Ray work out. Finally, one day, he noticed me, started up a conversation, and much to my surprise, he gave me a front row ticket for his fight. That moment is when I really felt the love for boxing. And during the fight, in the third or fourth round, I remember Ray had pulled Turner into a clinch and leaned over and winked at me. Well, it was a kind of a wink of, how do you think I'm doing? And of course, Ray Robinson, in those days, everything he did was perfect.
My years of privilege have always been paid for by the efforts of my champions.
This was a time when everybody was on board with boxing. We had the great Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta. They fought 6 times. Ray won 5, Jake won 1. Every fight went the distance except one, which was a 15-round fight, and Ray stopped him in the 13th round. And I'll never forget the film. They showed Jake leaning against the rope, battered and that, and he said to Ray, "You couldn't put me down, Ray. You couldn't put me down." That's the way boxing was.
The breadth and depth of my influence is endless. The masses, the people. My soul is embraced closely and openly. This is my golden age.
The golden age of boxing. Robinson and LaMotta. Great matchups always live up to expectations. You know, back in the day, boxing was part of society. You would get the fights on the radio. The outstanding fights would be shown on film in movie theaters along with the regular fare. Everybody talked boxing. During the Joe Louis days, the Marciano days, it was a part of society. Boxing was that great.
My lineage has lived on over the millennia, passed hand to hand, just as the ancient flame of Olympus.
After the 1976 Olympics, we had another golden age of boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard came out of the Olympics and captured the hearts of the people. And we had the 4 kings. It was just a great time for boxing.
My acclaim is buoyed once again by a quorum of champions. 4 kings carry me and hold me higher than any single name ever could.
Big names help our sport, help to carry it. But when you get 2 guys, 2 real solid champions, and they fight each other, that is the great time.
I know triumph and vanity and optimism. I know nothing of fear. I step back and retreat only to gain advantage. This is my golden age, and I revel in the glory of the 4 kings.
4 kings, this was such a great time in boxing. I mean, you had 4 great fighters, and they all wanted to fight each other. I mean, there was nobody backing out or this or that, and I had the privilege in 1985 to be at the Hagler-Hearns fight. 8 minutes of hell. 2 great fighters and just one hell of a fight.
I am never so great as when my standard is borne into the ring by not one, but many great champions. But alas, I must wait for the flame to be passed yet again.
I am boxing. I stand again poised at the dawning of my acclaim. The two are my wings of ascension, where I last meet the sacred square.
The screeching cries of my life's blood have been answered, and in the end, only one will stand.
The people are getting the fight that they demanded. This thing is everywhere.
The orator speaks well of me again, as in the past, when I was spoken for by kings. The flame has been passed, and the world is on fire. I press my lineage on the two who would carry this flame. I see that it is well kept, but I demand more.
I am boxing. If you are indeed the suitors of my deliverance, I ask only that you give me everything.
Your unblinking eye, that's answer enough.
I demand reverence for the past and for each other.
Show me your strategy. Show me that you're smart. Show me the joy that you take in your position.
Show me you possess the bearing of a champion.
What you got? Bring the people together. Select only the finest and most worthy of foes. Crush them like they crushed those before you.
Prepare your body and your mind. Show me your power.
Power! Show me your will.
Your will. Show me
speed. Are you a thinking man, or are you a punching bag?
Let me look within you and know a thing that is pure and complex.
Show me the beauty of the human form and the darkness of the human mind. Show me the violent release of the strife that is in all men. Play the game like a master with time and with suddenly brutal abandon.
Give me your name and lift me once again with your combined spirits.
I demand this of you because you are worthy and you are capable.
Bring to me my golden age, for
I am boxing, and I'm back.
Don't miss Canelo Golovkin, Saturday, September 16th, from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, live on pay-per-view. Tecate, born bold.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. With I Am Boxing, you've gotten a special look into two of boxing's golden eras, and on September 16th, that tradition will continue with the mega fight of Canelo versus Triple G. So right now, it is my honor to introduce the dais tonight and conduct interviews with this incredible group. So let's get started. I first want to introduce Triple G's promoters, Tom Loeffler and Max Herman from Team Triple G. I said Tom Loeffler and Max Herman from Team Triple G. They're making their way out. There they are, sir. There you go, sir. Have a seat, please. All right, next we have Canelo's trainers, Eddie and Chepo Reynoso. This father and son team have guided Canelo's career from the very beginning and are known as some of the top trainers in the sport. Thank you. And just like in the film we saw, we are lucky enough right now to be joined by experts in both of the golden eras of boxing. Oscar mentioned prior to the film Don Warwick Shargan, and he is actually here with us tonight. Don, come on out. Also joining us is a legend who really bridged the two golden ages between the four kings of Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and Duran. And ladies and gentlemen, he is a two-division world champion, former unified middleweight world champion, and a man who fought at the top level of boxing for nearly 30 years. True legend. Please welcome Bernard the Executioner Hopkins. Not only did this fighter produce the film, he's done everything there is, essentially, in the sport of boxing, from his Olympic gold medal in 1992 to his 10 world titles in 6 weight classes to his current job as the CEO and chairman of Golden Boy Promotions, the best promotional company in the business. He's a true ambassador for the fight game. Please welcome Mr. Oscar de la Hoya. And of course, we are joined by the two biggest fighters in the sport of boxing today. The two men ushering in the new golden age of boxing. First, he is an Olympic silver medalist, and since entering the professional ranks has destroyed just about everyone in front of him. He has a record of 37 wins, 0 losses with 33 knockouts. The WBC, WBA, and IBF world champion, ladies and gentlemen, Gennady Triple G Golovkin. And lastly, we are joined by the face of boxing in 2017. Since launching his professional career at the age of 15, there's little he hasn't done in the sport. He's a former 2-time super welterweight world champion and current Lineal and Ring Magazine middleweight champion. He has a record of 49-1-1 with 34 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Let's take a seat, gentlemen, and we'll jump right into it. Don Shargan, I want to start with you, sir. You are the only person on this stage to have seen Sugar Ray Robinson actually in the ring and followed the rivalry between him and Jake LaMotta. Now, looking back, what made that Sugar Ray and LaMotta rivalry so special?
The best of each other. Ray won 5 of the 6 fights, and the 5th fight, Jake won. But getting ready, they made a rematch 3 weeks later. But in the interim, 2 weeks later, Ray took a tune-up. So he fought 3 fights in 3 weeks, and the tune-up was against the top 10 fighter, California Jackie Wilson.
Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, 3 fights in 3 weeks, if you think about that. And Bernard, you sir, I know, are a historian when it comes to the sport of boxing. And while the 4 kings essentially battled each other before you launched your career, and you debuted, I believe, in 1988, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So tell us about the rivalry and just in that era that existed among those 4 and why it was so great to watch back in the day.
Well, one reason is the foundation that started a lot of unification, including mine. So when you go back to the Haglers, the Leonards, and Ray Robinson and all the history in the middleweight division up to now. I mean, this is a dynasty. They have it in football, they have it in basketball, we have it in boxing. And right now, you're starting to see another generation right now, Triple G and Canelo, get a chance now to submit their legacy and that rich, long legacy of the middleweight division all the way back to Ray Robinson.
Thank you, Bernard. Now, bringing us to the present, Oscar, you've been a promoter for the most part of the careers of both the fighters, Triple G and Canelo. What do you see in these two fighters that made it a natural transition for them to sort of usher in this new golden age? And kudos, by the way, to the timing, because there was no marination of like 5 years. There was no taking of the time. It seemed to happen at just the right time. Is that part of what makes this event so special?
Well, what makes this event so special is that both fighters are in their prime. Both fighters are power punchers. Both fighters don't know how to take a step going backwards. They're going to fight with passion. Just like Ice Cube said, they have fire in their belly, and they're going to give you a great fight. So that's what I'm looking forward to. As a promoter, this is a dream come true, especially because it's a middleweight division. And when you talk about the middleweight division, like Don Chargan did and Bernard Hopkins did, a middleweight fight does not disappoint. A middleweight fight always delivers, and September 16th, this fight will be historical because of their styles. They will give you a war. They will give you, it's going to be 12 rounds of hell, let me tell you.
This fight has zero chance of being boring, I'll tell you that. Gennady, what does it mean to you to be mentioned along the same names of all these wonderful fighters and to participate in an event of this level? Because this is the biggest scale and biggest moment you've had so far. What does all this mean to you?
Absolutely, this is the biggest moment for me. I'm very proud. Thank you to my people, to all fans, who support boxing. I respect this sport. I respect boxing.
Thank you. Canelo, for being such a young guy, you've had many big moments. But this is probably the pinnacle of your career at this moment. What does this type of event mean to you?
No, la verdad que sí he tenido grandes peleas, grandes retos en mi carrera, pero nos propusimos, mi equipo y yo, que en esta pelea se resumen 14 años de trabajo. Entonces, es una gran responsabilidad para mí esta pelea, pero sin duda voy a salir con la mano en alto el 16 de septiembre. Y me siento muy orgulloso de que se haya hecho esta pelea, porque el que salga de esta pelea va a ser el mejor libra por libra, sin duda.
Canelo has had many big events in his career, and this has been the buildup of 14 years of his professional career. He recognizes that this is the biggest moment, and he realizes that whoever gets his hand raised, and he said it's going to be him, will be the true best middleweight and fighter in the world. All right. I'd like to move to September 16th specifically now and talk about the best fight in the boxing in the current era right now. Oscar, a lot of people thought this fight wasn't going to happen, and that politics were going to get in the way, or timing was going to get in the way, or whatever the case may be. How did you manage to finally have it come together and to nail it on what essentially is the biggest weekend in boxing, September 16th?
Well, first of all, fights of this magnitude take a long time to negotiate, and obviously we want to thank Tom Lofter, who did a terrific job, who is Triple G's promoter. But fights like this take a while to put together, but the fans were demanding it, and we delivered to the fans. And those are the people that are most important in boxing, are the fans. So this fight had to be made. And especially on September 16th, not only are we going to enjoy a great fight, but we're going to be able to celebrate las fiestas patrias, la independencia de Mexico. It's going to be a lot of fun. Las Vegas is going to be hot, let me tell you.
It's going to be a hot event for sure. Gennady, up until about a year ago, essentially you were looked at as like the boogeyman of the sport. You were knocking out everyone. You had an incredible streak, and you're feared throughout all the middleweight division. When people started saying after the Kell Brook fight or the Jacobs fight that you looked a little more vulnerable, that you may be getting a little bit older, do you feel that is the case? Do you feel that Canelo is meeting you still at the peak of your career?
Oh, all my fights, this is my fights, this is my story. Just right now, new story. Right now is new position. I believe we are bringing new step to history with Canelo. You know, thank you for everybody who supports this fight. You know, I promise this amazing time and amazing fight for us.
Thank you. Canelo, you faced at your young age so many different styles and different types of fighters, from Mayweather, of course, to Erislandy Lara, to James Kirkland and Miguel Cotto. And yet, because the sport and people are hardcore critics, they were giving you a hard time because they made it seem like you were putting off facing Triple G. What do you make of the timing of it all, and why do you feel September 16th this year was the right time to finally face Golovkin?
No, creo que este tipo de peleas duran tiempo para hacerse, ¿no? Entre comillas duró mucho, pero este tipo de peleas duran 5 o 6 años en hacerse, ¿no? Pero gracias a Dios está. Lo que sí quiero decirles, desde que tengo 15 años peleando profesional, no le he tenido miedo a nadie, no conozco el miedo y no creo conocerlo, porque como lo dije una vez, cuando nací yo ya se había repartido el miedo, entonces no lo conozco. No lo conozco y solamente quise brindarles esta pelea a la afición, una pelea que querían ver. Estoy listo para esto y para mucho más.
These types of fights take a lot of time, just like Oscar said, and it didn't take the 5 years that you're used to for these mega fights, but it actually came together at the right time when it's supposed to come together. And he was, when he was born, that's when the fear left. There was no fear to be there, and it's something he's very much looking forward to, and he feels the timing is essential and perfect. Miss anything?
Mario, before we go on, where are the Triple G fans? Where are the Canelo fans? All right, what I want to do is pick one Triple G fan and one Canelo fan to come on stage. We'll send somebody up there to get you. So one Triple G fan and one Canelo fan. You're going to have the opportunity to ask a question. Or why do you think Canelo's going to win, and why do you think Triple G's going to win? We'll send somebody up there to get you.
Ask a question. Maybe throw some chingazos. We'll see. All right. Now a question for Eddie and Chepo. Oh, there they are. Eddie and Chepo Reynoso. Canelo is known for being a gym rat, always working hard. He's always in incredible shape. Given that this is the biggest fight of his career, are you going to do anything different to prepare? ¿Van a hacer algo diferente en el gimnasio?
No se va a hacer nada diferente, porque él siempre trabaja al 100% para quien sea. Esta vez no va a ser la excepción. Respetamos como persona a Triple G, pero el 16 de septiembre se acaba ese respeto para demostrar quién es quién arriba del ring. Para mí ya es el mejor libra por libra el Canelo. Solamente falta el 16 que se lo demuestre a todo el mundo. Gracias.
He's not going to do anything different. They always prepare hard. He's always in shape, and they always have respect for all their opponents. But come September 16th, he's going to have no respect and do what he has to do to get his hand raised, and Canelo is going to be the victor that night. Now, last questions right here before we get the fans. I know fighters don't necessarily like to give predictions, but let me just start with you, Gennady. Will this fight go the distance? Do you feel it will end in a knockout? How do you see it playing out?
I don't know, seriously. I don't know. I believe this is biggest fight for people, for sport, for boxing.
Canelo, same question. How do you see this fight ending? Decision, knockout? What's your prediction?
Yo creo que es muy difícil que llegue a la decisión. Es una pelea que los estilos se acomodan para un knockout y obviamente pues me voy a preparar muy bien para ser yo el que lo aplique.
It's very difficult for this fight to end up in a decision because the styles lend themselves that it should be a knockout, and that's what we're going to be going for that night.
We've got the fans ready for questions.
We're going to have a couple questions in the audience. Monica? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Triple G fan right here.
Yeah. Hello, I came here from Kazakhstan, and today I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate that I know I met you before, and I am a follower of you, and Genna, you are the best. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Well, can someone translate that, please? What was the question? Was it more of a statement?
He just wanted to make a comment. All right. All right.
Do we have
Canelo
another
fan right here.
Yes, Triple G.
Here, bring him on stage. Bring him on stage. Come on, get over here. Come on. We can't hear you. Get over here. Both of them. Come on.
All right, a couple more questions. We're going to have the fighters face off.
A couple more questions. All right, for the Canelo fan, come here. For the Canelo fan, why do you think Canelo's gonna win?
Because he's Mexican. Por México, va a ganar la pelea.
Kazakhstan, why do you think Triple G's gonna win the fight?
Can you repeat, please?
Why you think Triple G win fight?
Because he's the best. That's why. This is only the reason.
Thank you.
Passionate fans right there. All right. We got one more question from the crowd or no? All right, we're good. At this point, we're going to have the fighters face off. So Gennady, Canelo, would please meet center stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going down September 16th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Face off, gentlemen. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, for the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, it is going down September 16th, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, HBO pay-per-view, Saul Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Triple G Golovkin. We will see you there. Thank you so much for joining us.
la mañana quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana. Yo le canto a tus volcanes, a tus praderas y flores, que son como talismanes del amor de mis amores. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti.
Back in the balcony, Beth Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. An interesting way to wrap up the final press conference that started in London this week. Then it went to New York. Then they went to the ESPN car wash here in LA. It's got to be Hollywood. You had the red carpet, had the films produced, and then you had Oscar De La Hoya say, let's go off script and bring some fans up here. Get the fans interacting, Steve. It was cool.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Back in the 80s, which was referenced in the I Am Boxing documentary, these tours actually used to be a lot longer. Bob Arum talks about 15 city tours, where by the end of
15?
Yes, where Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns really couldn't even take the same airplane. It got really tense, and I get the sense that when they were in London, these two were pretty cordial. By the time they got to the West Coast, I think they are basically sick of seeing each other. I think they are ready to prepare in their respective camps.
I think they've been sick of each other the last couple of years, answering the questions, when are you guys going to fight? Now, Doug, when Canelo fought Chavez Jr. a few months ago, there was some split amongst the Mexican fans. Even here inside the Avalon, it's a split amongst the fans, and the fans are all Mexicans in here today.
Yeah, you know, there is a contingent of Mexican and Mexican-American fans, the Mexicans for Triple G, that are backing Golovkin for this September 16th showdown. And they've been riding with Golovkin ever since that Mexican-style showdown that he had with Marco Antonio Rubio at StubHub Center a couple years ago. And his fan base has continued to grow.
Steve, where did Golovkin come from?
Well, he came from Kazakhstan almost as this international man of mystery, buried on these Universum cards, and was able to get his freedom. And then it was Tom Loeffler and Oleg and Max Herman that basically rescued this career. Going back to what Doug said about the Mexicans for Golovkin, we've seen the T-shirt, we've seen the phenomena.
Here.
Yes, well, what I found interesting when I was at the Willie Monroe fight last year at the Forum, a sellout crowd over 12,000. I had a multitude of Mexican Americans that had that exact same shirt on and other bootleg versions. And they basically said that if Golovkin ever fought Canelo, despite being Mexican, they would be Golovkin fans. Now, that has absolutely stunned me. And judging by the reaction tonight, I think many of them have kept their word.
Diga no la pirateria. We don't believe in bootleg around here. Only the best, and that's the reason we have Doug Fisher. Doug, last question before we wrap this up. The buzz for this fight has been building amongst hardcore fans, but I'm noticing the casual fan, the person who might say, I don't know, but maybe, but now they're like, yeah, I want to see this fight.
Yeah, you know, Canelo has been on the world stage. He's been an HBO and pay-per-view level fighter for several years. Obviously, his showdown with Floyd Mayweather kind of put him over the edge, kind of made him a mainstream attraction. And Golovkin has been grinding non-stop since his debut in America 5 years ago. And he's fought often, and he's delivered every time he steps into the ring. And with each fight, his fan base has grown to the point where he's begun to bleed over into mainstream or casual sports fan consciousness.
Canelo Alvarez, a superstar in the sport of boxing. He is the A-side when they meet September 16th in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Gennady Golovkin has a big following behind him, but it's the first time that he goes to Sin City. A lot on the line, the middleweight belts, the lineal championship, also a lot of exposure from Ring TV and the Golden Boy platforms. That'll be September 16th in Las Vegas. We will be there. Go and follow all the Golden Boy social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Snapchat. They are giving you all exclusive behind-the-scenes footage. Supremacy is coming your way from the T-Mobile in Las Vegas, September 16th, 2017, at 160 pounds, Triple G, Canelo Alvarez. For everybody involved, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, good night, and see you in Las Vegas. Canelo for Triple G.